Okay, welcome back to Who Cooking Keto. So today we are going to do a recipe from the Keto Guido. We're going back to the book with Vinny G. Hey, right? And we're going to do a recipe out of his book called Flaky Beef Empanadas. This one is delicious. Now there's a few steps to it, but we're going to learn a few important keto tips along the way here. So, and real quick, I wanted to show off my shirt here. Got this on clearance from Walmart. It's almost going down to my knees, man. And this is an extra large. Like, I mean, this shirt is humongous on me. And this would have been very form-fitting just a few months ago before I started on this keto journey. So I show that to you not to brag, but to give you motivation, because this keto thing works if you stick with it. So anyway, flaky beef empanadas from the Keto Guido. Let's roll. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna make the dough. So I have 1 cup of mozzarella cheese shredded up here, and I've got some cream cheese. This is a chive and onion, so this is a little hack. I tried this a couple different ways with regular cream cheese. I found this chive and onion to be pretty daggone good. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take 5 generous tablespoons of this cream cheese, and we're gonna mix that with our 1 cup of mozzarella, and we're gonna put that over low heat until it turns into kind of a almost pasty kind of concoction. And we're gonna mix that with the rest of our dough mix, and it's all gonna come together real nice. And this is gonna look like some straight up pizza dough, man. It's crazy. You'll see. All right, so we've added our cheese, our mozza, and our cream cheese, and we're gonna keep this on low. And I emphasize low because this will burn very quickly. So be patient with this and keep mixing it together. Slowly watch it form into a pasty type of substance. And once it turns into that, then we're gonna pull this off and we're gonna do the next step in making our dough. As we can see here, this is starting to take shape. So it's melting very slowly on the lowest heat that we can set it to so it doesn't burn. And we're mixing together the cream cheese and the mozzarella into this concoction, and it's getting there. And here in just a moment we will pull this off of here. Once the cheese is fully melted, we'll pull it off the heat, let it sit for a moment, and then we're going to add it to our pan where we're going to mix the rest of our ingredients together. And this is going to formulate the dough for our empanadas. So if you're not familiar with the empanadas, they're just meat-filled bread concoctions, and they're delicious. My wife's mom makes these things, and they are absolutely killer. Hers is a Hispanic style, and we're gonna do that, or we're gonna imitate that. But of course, she's using real bread with the flour, and we're using a keto-friendly version of it. So we're gonna give this just another minute or so. All right, so now our cheese mixture has been able to cool down, so we can see it has kind of like almost a doughy type of consistency. So we're going to add this into our mixing bowl. All right, beautiful. Now we're going to add 3/4 cup of almond flour. And here is our almond flour. Really doing it now. Okay. We're going to do 1 teaspoon of coconut flour. Tablespoon, excuse me. And we're going to do 2 tablespoons of coconut milk. We're going to do 1 egg. All right, and we're going to add, finally, some garlic powder and sea salt. And you know what? We're just going to use our McCormick's here. Got a little pepper in it. You know what? It'll be all right. The recipe says half a teaspoon of sea salt and 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. You know what? I'm just going to put some of this in here generously, and we're going to call it a day. All right, then we're going to mix this together. Going to make sure that this egg gets good and beaten while it's right here on top. And we're just going to mix this. Get it all combined. All right, when you have this good and combined, now here's what I've done in the past. So, what you do is you take some plastic cling wrap, right, and we're going to cover this. Okay, we're going to put the cling wrap actually inside of it, inside of the bowl, and we're going to have it cover our dough. We're going to push down on it a little bit, trying to make it into one firm piece. Give it a little push down. Okay, now we're going to put this in the refrigerator for at least 30 minutes, and it's going to harden in there into a dough. Okay, so let's go ahead and pop this in the fridge. While that's in the fridge, I just wanted to point out to you, in case you were wondering, this was the almond flour. That's the Blue Diamond brand. This kind is really good. It was a little expensive, and I had to go to the fancy grocery store, the Harris Teeter, to get it. I want to say that was at least $10, may have been more than that. And then also from that same store, this is our gluten-free coconut flour. So this is what we were using for that. That was buy one, get one free. So always be looking for sales with this type of thing. And if you see it, stock up. Okay. And then finally, here is our organic coconut unsweetened milk. So this is what we used for that. It has 1 carb, less than 1 gram of sugar. Very nice. All right, so we're going to take our onion and we're going to go ahead and chop that up while our pan is heating up. And we're going to put our meat in the pan. Our ground beef, we got 1 pound of it. It's actually 1 and 3/4 pounds. So we're going to have plenty of meat going here. All right, and we're going to put some of our good butter in the pan, so it's going to make everything extra greasy and extra amazing. Believe me. We're going to go ahead and chop this up. Alright, looks like our onions are now chopped, so let's get ready to put this beef in this pan. Alright, so our pan is good and hot, so let's go ahead and add, it's about 1/4 cup of butter. This is some of the Irish butter. Vinny says do grass-fed butter. You do you, player. Alright, we're going to add our ground beef in here. Woo! Really doing it. All right, so we're going to break this up and we're going to cook it down for about 6 or 7 minutes or however the hell long it takes to get it good and brown. And then we're going to add our onions. All right, our meat is just about brown here, so just make this soak in the rest of these juices and finish cooking. Alright, now I'm going to add our chopped onion that we chopped up before. Carefully. All right, and then we're going to add 1 tablespoon of minced garlic. I buy this because garlic gets, I don't know, I'm just not always in the mood to be chopping it up and it getting sticky and it takes so long. Maybe I'm just being lazy. I probably am, but it's all right. I got stuff to do, money to make. You know how it goes. Okay. All right, now we're going to add a little bit of ground cumin to this. I'm going to give it a little bit of a smoky type flavor. We're going to give it a little chili powder. About a teaspoon of that. I just usually kind of eyeball it, quite frankly. Alright, then we're going to do, this is 2 teaspoons of dried oregano. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to hit it with a little bit of this perfect pinch Italian seasoning. I think Vinny would be proud of me. I think he'd be okay with this little switcheroo here. Right, and finally, our McCormick, you know the drill. Salt, pepper, garlic mixture. Now, this recipe calls for 2 tablespoons of sugar-free tomato paste to add to this. I can't find it. I mean, I can't find it in a grocery store in person. I haven't looked online for it. But I looked in the bougie grocery store, the Harris Teeter. I looked in the Walmart. I looked in the other more budget-friendly grocery store, the Food Line. I couldn't find it anywhere. I did, however, find this taco sauce. It's called Sky Valley Taco Sauce. It has 1 carb and 1 gram total sugar, no fat, 5 calories. I'm going to toss a little bit of this in here. And this is going to do the trick. So if you can find this or anything similar to it, I suggest that. All right, and that's it. So now that we've put all this in the pan, we're just going to kind of mix it all together for about 4 or 5 minutes. Let it kind of cook down, let it soak in that grease. And depending on how much grease you have, which would be depending on how much butter you used and how fatty your ground beef is, you may have to drain some of this out when you're done. It may be too much. So you have to keep an eye on that. Anyway, we're going to let this cook down for a few minutes, and in the meantime, I'm going to preheat my oven to 425 degrees. And we're going to make sure that that's all ready to go. Okay, now let's start making these empanadas because our dough is ready and our meat is ready. So this has been in the refrigerator for about 30 minutes. So I'm going to take this out of here. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and get that ready to go. Before that, however, what we have here, I have a pan flat pan with some parchment paper on top of it. So I'm going to take a little bit of my almond flour. And I'm just going to put it on the pan here, right? So it'll help to quote unquote lubricate this for when the dough is ready. All right, to keep it moving, not sticking to the parchment paper, okay? All right. Let me grab me a little bit more flour. Now this may take you a few times, right, to be able to do this right. Don't expect this to be absolutely perfect this first time that you do it, okay? Because it's not going to be perfect this time. This takes a lot of practice to be able to do this right, okay? So just do the best you can with it. Don't get frustrated. And so basically what we're going to try and do is we're going to try to spread this out so it's good and flat, okay? And then I'm going to show you a pro tip as to how to very easily cut out the little circles that you want with this, and then you go ahead and start to fill it with our meat. Okay. If it's sticky like it is here for me, the solution is to grab more flour and just keep doing that until it cooperates with you. Keep spreading the almond flour all over it, right, until you can push down on it and it doesn't stick to you. Okay. It has too much moisture in it, and the flour is helping to suck up some of that moisture. That's what's happening. And, you know, if it's being a real pain like this one is with me, you can even let this sit out for, you know, a few minutes. Try it again after 10 or 15 minutes and just let some of the air dry it out for a little bit. And that's actually what I'm going to do here. I'm going to cover this in plenty of flour, and I'm going to let it sit for a minute and let it dry out. All right, so I added a little bit of coconut flour on here, put it along the edges, and I let this sit here for about 10 minutes or so. So, got this nice and flattened here. I believe it's about as flat as it's going to get. And again, just do the best you can with this. You're probably not gonna get this exactly right the first time you do it. But you'll see regardless that even if you don't do this perfectly, it's still gonna taste really damn good. All right, so here's the pro tip that I was telling you about. Take you a drinking glass like this, right? And it's not too big, not too small, okay? And we're gonna use this, we're gonna push down into our dough, okay, and that's going to create the circle that we're then going to use. Okay, it is such an easy way to do it. I struggled with this, with how to do it, and then my wife told me, she said, well, this is how my mom does it, and I was like, well, crap, that's beautiful. And so we can see that this dough is still on the bottom kind of wet, so we're going to take us a little bit of, going to get a little bit more flour, and we're just going to keep on with this. And that's it. We're just going to do the best we can with this. Right? If you need to use your spatula that you used for your meat, as you cleaned it off. Okay, there you go. Use that. All right. Take the thing in your hand. If you need to, get all the flour that you need. And just keep doing it until it cooperates with you. If you need more flour, you get more flour. Whatever it is, however it is that you're going to make it happen. Okay? Keep doing the flour. both sides. And just keep working it, baby. Keep working it. All right, so now we've got our flat piece here. Seems to be cooperating. All right, now take your spoon, go back to your meat. Go back to your meat mixture. Take you about 1 spoon. Might be too much, might be too little. Just gonna depend on how big your piece is. And then you're gonna fold it over. Like so. Okay. Okay, if you need to hold it like this and kind of pinch up the edges of it to make sure that it stays in one piece and closes up on you, right? And that's it. Keep messing with it like that. I mean, unless you're entering some type of contest, I don't think this needs to be, you know, the best job you've ever done on anything in your life. You know what I mean? The point is that you've got dough sandwiching a bunch of meat, cheese, concoction, right? That's it. So keep forming it around until it is that. All right. And as you do this, if you get better at it, then you can kind of crimp the edges of it or do whatever it is that you want to do. Okay? And that's it. Okay? So this is, you know, I'm actually glad that it turned out kind of imperfect like this, because this way I'm able to show you that, you know what, you can still do it. And it doesn't have to look perfect, and it doesn't have to be perfect. And you know what? It's still going to work. Okay. Now that's my first completed one. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to put it on my pan that is lined in tin foil. And then I spread some olive oil around. If you have some olive oil spray, then feel free to do that as well. And that's it. So you get the drill. So you're going to make all of these using your glass, and you're going to roll them up with the meat. Ooh, this is going to be good, I promise you. Even if it's not the most beautiful thing that's ever happened, it's going to be good. Trust me. All right, so I'm going to make the rest of these empanadas. What up, what up? All right, here are our empanadas that we made. Now, we're about to stick these in the oven at 425 for about 8 to 10 minutes. But anyway, I wanted to show you what these look like after I finish rolling them up. So, as you can see, these are not perfect, right? Like, if you've done this for years and you've made stuff like this and you have a lot of experience with it, they're going to look way better than this, right? But here's the thing. They're still going to taste damn good. I promise you that much. All right, let's put these in the oven for about 8 to 10. We'll see you in a minute. All right, here's the finished product of our beef empanadas, and although they aren't perfect on here, they look like they're kind of falling apart, and maybe they are a little bit, and that's probably going to happen with you too the first time you do it, maybe the second time you do it, but it's going to taste damn good. I promise you it is. So I hope you enjoy this. I hope you try this recipe. Leave any comments or questions below, and check out the recipe on my website. But until then, bon appetit, bitches. I'll talk to you next time. Later.